You think you know what care looks like. You think you can spot manipulation when you see it. But what if the very person who tells you they love you is the one slowly dismantling your reality? And what if the person who questions you, who challenges you, who makes you feel uncomfortable, actually has your best interests at heart? The line between gaslighting and genuine concern is razor thin. And most people cross it without realizing they were ever standing on the wrong side. This is not a quiz. This is not a quick list of tips you will forget tomorrow. This is a deep psychological breakdown. If you have ever doubted your own perception because of what someone else said to you, stay with me. Because by the end of this, you will finally see through the fog. Before we go any further, ask yourself this question. Do you want to understand the hidden architecture of the human mind? Do you want to know exactly how people manipulate, control, and influence others without you ever noticing? Because that is what this channel exists for. We map the territories of dark psychology. We expose the patterns that most people spend their entire lives trying to ignore. And if that sounds like something you need to master, then you might want to subscribe right now, because this is not entertainment. This is armor for your mind. Now, let us begin with the first and most crucial difference. 1. Intention. And this is where everything begins and ends. A person who genuinely cares about you has one dominant intention. They want to understand your experience so they can help you navigate it. They want to validate your feelings, even if they disagree with your interpretation. They might challenge you. They might push back. But the direction of their energy is toward clarity and resolution. They are not trying to change your reality. They are trying to meet you inside it. Now contrast that with a gaslighter. Their intention is fundamentally different. They do not want to understand your reality. They want to replace it with their own. A gaslighter sees your perspective as a threat that must be eliminated. Every time you say something they do not agree with, every time you express doubt about their actions, they do not respond with curiosity. They respond with negation. They do not ask clarifying questions. They tell you that you are wrong. They tell you that you are confused. They tell you that you are overreacting. And here is the terrifying part. They often believe this themselves. Research in cognitive dissonance and social dominance orientation shows that gaslighters typically have a deep need to maintain control over the narrative. When you challenge their version of events, you are not just disagreeing with them. You are threatening their very sense of self, so they must destroy your version to survive. This is not care. This is self-preservation at your expense. But watch how similar the language can be. A caring partner might say, "I remember that differently. Can you tell me more about what you saw?" A gaslighter says, "That is not what happened. You must have imagined it. The words differ only slightly. The intention is worlds apart. One invites conversation, the other shuts it down. One acknowledges that memory is subjective. The other declares that your memory is defective. One creates space. The other occupies space so aggressively there is no room left for you. Here is the psychological anchor you need to hold on to. When someone questions your reality, look at what happens after you express your version. Do they try to understand why you saw things that way? Or do they immediately tell you that you cannot trust yourself? The first is care. The second is control. 2. Pattern of behavior. This is the difference that most people miss because they focus on individual incidents. One fight, one accusation, one moment of confusion. But gaslighting is never an isolated event. It is a recurring pattern, and that pattern follows a very specific rhythm. First comes the denial of your experience. You say something happened. They say it did not. You begin to doubt yourself. Then comes the redirection. They shift the blame onto you. They say you are too sensitive. You are too paranoid. You are the one creating problems. Then comes the isolation. They make you feel like no one else would believe you. They tell you that your friends and family do not understand the relationship. They position themselves as the only one who truly knows you. Then comes the rewriting of history. They change the details of past events to fit their narrative. You begin to wonder if your memory is failing. And finally, the cycle repeats. Each time, you lose a little more confidence. Each time, you become a little more dependent on their version of reality. Now compare this to genuine concern. Genuine concern does not follow a pattern of denial and isolation. When someone truly cares about you, they might challenge you occasionally. But the pattern is one of return. They come back to check on you. They admit when they were wrong. They apologize. They adjust their behavior. The relationship does not spiral downward. It oscillates but trends toward stability. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that individuals in healthy relationships reported that their partners acknowledged their emotional experiences even during conflict. They might disagree, but they did not deny. That is the key difference. Denial is the signature of manipulation. Acknowledgement is the signature of care. If you are trying to determine whether someone gaslights you or genuinely cares for you, do not look at the worst moment. Look at the overall curve of your relationship. Are you becoming more confident or more confused? Are you speaking up more often or shrinking? Are you reaching out to others or retreating from them? The pattern does not lie. 3. Impact on self-esteem. This is where the damage becomes visible, and it is also where gaslighting reveals its true nature. Because genuine concern, even when it is difficult, tends to build you up over time. It might hurt in the moment, but it strengthens your foundation. Gaslighting does the exact opposite. It hollows you out. Let us look at the mechanics. When someone gaslights you, they are systematically attacking your ability to trust your own judgment. Every time they tell you that you are wrong about what you saw, heard, or felt, they plant a seed of doubt. Over weeks and months, that seed grows into a forest of confusion. You stop trusting your perceptions. You start second-guessing every thought you have. Your self-esteem does not just drop, it collapses. Here is what that looks like in practical terms. You begin to apologize more. You say sorry for things that are not your fault. You ask permission to have an opinion. You check with your partner before making even small decisions. You start to believe that you are the problem. That you are too difficult to love. That your memory is broken. That your emotions are too intense. You become dependent on your partner to tell you what is real, and that dependency is exactly what the gaslighter wants. Genuine concern works in the opposite direction. A partner who truly cares might challenge your assumptions, but they do it in a way that invites you to trust yourself more. They ask you questions that help you clarify your own thoughts. They give you space to reflect. They do not rush in to fill the silence with their version of events. They let you find your own footing, and when you do, they celebrate your clarity. They do not fear it. Psychologically, this difference is rooted in attachment theory. Secure attachment is characterized by the freedom to explore your own identity while knowing you have a safe base to return to. Gaslighting creates an anxious attachment dynamic. You cannot explore your identity because you are constantly trying to hold onto a crumbling sense of reality. You become hypervigilant. You scan your partner's face for signs of disapproval. You monitor your own words for anything that might trigger their denial. If you are not sure whether your self-esteem has been affected, ask yourself this simple question. Do you feel more stable when you are alone? Does your anxiety decrease when your partner is not around? If the answer is yes, that is a red flag. Genuine concern makes you feel safer in their presence. Gaslighting makes you feel safer in their absence. 4. Side-by-side examples. Let us now put this into the most concrete terms possible, because theory is useful, but examples are where the truth lands. Example 1. The lost item. You cannot find your keys. You are sure you left them on the kitchen counter. You tell your partner, I think I left my keys on the counter. Can you help me look? A gaslighter responds, you never put them on the counter. You always leave them by the door. You are so forgetful lately. Do you even remember where you were yesterday? Their goal is to make you doubt your memory of where you placed the keys. They attack your competence. They imply something is wrong with you. A genuinely concerned partner responds, I thought I saw them on the counter too. Let me check the living room just in case. They validate your memory. They do not question your mental state. They work with you to solve the problem. Example 2, the argument about a past conversation. You remember your partner promising to attend an event with you. They say they never agreed to it. You feel confused. A gaslighter says, I never said that. You are putting words in my mouth. This is exactly what you always do. You twist everything. You are starting to gaslight me now. Notice the reversal. The manipulation turns you into the perpetrator. A genuinely concerned partner says, I honestly do not remember saying that, but I might have forgotten. Let me check my calendar. They take responsibility for their own memory. They leave the door open to the possibility that you are right. Example 3. You express a feeling. You tell your partner, I felt hurt when you did not call me back. A gaslighter responds, you are being too sensitive. I was busy. You always do this. You make everything about yourself. My life does not revolve around you. They delegitimize your emotion. They make you feel ashamed for having it. A genuinely concerned partner says, I am sorry you felt hurt. That was not my intention. I should have let you know I was going to be busy. They apologize without reservation. They own the impact of their behavior regardless of their intent. Example 4. You suspect something is wrong. You feel something off in the relationship. You try to bring it up carefully. A gaslighter says, there you go again. You are always paranoid. You need therapy. You are projecting your insecurities onto me. They diagnose you. They pathologize your concerns. They make you believe that your intuition is a symptom of illness. A genuinely concerned partner says, I have been feeling a bit distant too. Let us talk about it. I want to understand what is going on with you and with us. They meet you where you are. They do not deflect. They join you in the search for truth. 5. The question of repair. This is the final difference, and it is the one that determines whether a relationship can survive. In any relationship, mistakes happen. People say things they do not mean. People act out of fear or stress or exhaustion. But the difference between a gaslighter and someone who genuinely cares is what happens after the harm. A genuinely concerned person will attempt to repair the damage. They will listen to your account of what happened. They will validate your feelings. They will apologize without adding conditions. They might say, I did not mean to hurt you, but I see that I did. That is not okay. I will work on this. A gaslighter does not repair. They continue to deny that anything happened, or they offer a false apology that blames you. I am sorry you felt that way, but you know how I am. If they do repair, it is only to reset the cycle. They apologize just enough to keep you from leaving. But the pattern does not change because they do not believe they did anything wrong. Research on narcissistic personality disorder and gaslighting shows that the inability to genuinely apologize is one of the strongest predictors of manipulative behavior. Because a true apology requires you to acknowledge that you hurt someone. That acknowledgement requires empathy. And empathy requires you to momentarily step outside your own perspective and into someone else's. A gaslighter cannot do this because their survival depends on maintaining their own narrative as the only reality. So ask yourself this. When conflict ends in your relationship, does it actually end? Or does it go underground, waiting to resurface in the next argument? Genuine concern seeks closure. Gaslighting seeks confusion that can be exploited later. Now you know the 5 differences: intention, pattern, impact on self-esteem, side-by-side examples, and the question of repair. But knowing is not the same as doing, and the real test is what you do with this knowledge. If you recognize patterns of gaslighting in your own relationships, you need to trust yourself first. And if you cannot trust yourself, find evidence. Write down events immediately after they happen. Record conversations if it is legal in your area. Talk to someone outside the relationship. Break the isolation. And most importantly, understand that you are not crazy. You are not broken. Your perception matters. The mind is the most complex system in the universe. And manipulation is one of its most dangerous distortions. But you now have a map of that distortion. You can see the shape of it. You can name it. And naming it is the first step to reclaiming your reality. If you found value in this breakdown, you already know what this channel offers. We do not give surface-level advice. We show you the hidden patterns that control human behavior. We reveal the mechanisms of dark psychology so that you are never a victim of what you cannot see. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing through the fog. Because knowledge is not just power here, it is protection, and you deserve that protection every single time.